Good morning, everyone. I am Teresa with Jeremiah Dreams. Welcome to my channel, and I am so glad you're here. This week we've been working on a vintage tractor piece, and we are continuing that project, and we're getting really into the details of the tractor at this point in the project. So come on in, say good morning, let me know where you're watching from, and I'm so glad you're here. Join the conversation, y'all. All right, let's get you switched over to my surface. Hold on just a second. Let me get it pulled up here and make it full screen, and that way you can see everything that's going on. All right, I hope everything looks good for you. The lighting's good and all the things. Crumb float down. All right, let's get going. We're going to pull out a palette and bring in some colors. I'm going to pull in some black, some gray, and today I'm just going to use regular craft paints. I use a lot of different paints. Good morning, Brooke. How are you? Happy Friday. Oh my goodness, girl, I'm ready. Although I do work tomorrow, so it's not quite Friday for me yet, but it is a holiday weekend, a long weekend, and it's all going to be fine, right? I think we're all ready for a little break, right? Oh my goodness. Now I am going to use one of my Master's Touch colors in the red because it's just a truer shade. I kind of messed with a true red in the acrylic version yesterday or day before yesterday, and it came out very pink. So we're going to start with just using this permanent red in Master's Touch. I love the Master's Touch paints. I get them at Hobby Lobby. And they just have an amazing consistency. Their pigment is just so rich, and I'm just so pleased with these paints. Let me get my little fan going here. Excuse me, I kind of have allergies going on today too. Let's see, I need to pull in the gray. I'm going to just use some craft paint. This is called Rainy Day Gray. Let me get a little bit of that out here. And that should do us just for a little bit. We may pull in a little bit of some, just some light mocha, just to represent some age and dirt. Let's put just a little bit of this on here. We may not use much, but we'll have it ready to go. That color is almost empty. All right. I'm going to use my detail brush. You don't get a break. You're working at your local Oh, I got you. Yeah. And we need you, Miss Brooke. I know that's hard though, for sure. Okay. So let me get my brush prepped. Hold on just a second here. And you guys, I like to clean my brushes as I go along, and I keep a jar of soapy water right here. I have a jar of some clean water to tap into, and then one of my other favorite cleaners is just some Murphy's oil soap. I keep a little bit in a tiny jar. Some of these deeper colors, sometimes it's hard to get all the pigment out. And Murphy's oil soap for me has just been amazing to break that up and to deep clean my brushes as well. So I keep a little bit of that on hand, and I like to clean my brushes as I go. And then I don't have as much cleanup on the end, at the end of everything. Okay. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of our true red. I want to add kind of in this engine area, just some little indications of some of the parts that are involved. I'm not going to get super detailed in this, but I want to give the impression of there's a lot of equipment that's at work within our engine area. So I'm just adding some different little indications of shape. I'm going to pull in some black. And with the black, I'm just going to kind of do some what I call, what most artists call negative space. Just kind of giving indication of other parts by painting what's in and behind those parts. So we're creating the depth in behind those things. I'm going to create another looking cylinder thing right through here. And we're not going to worry about a ton of detail, but we just need some. I do have a reference of a tractor off to the side here that I'm kind of looking at to see what do I need to include. There's quite a bit of glare on this too, which makes it a little bit challenging. I'm trying to get to the least amount of glare so that I can see exactly these details I need to incorporate. Just going to put a little gray curl in there. Let me pick up a little bit of this mocha and put in just an indication of another cylinder type object that looks like it's aged and kind of dirty. We're going to gray that up a little bit so it's not so stark. Just picking up a little gray on the brush and adding it to that just to dilute that a little bit. Let's see if I'm pulling a little black just to dim it. That's going to be a better color. So it still has that indication of that tone, but it's just not as stark. I'm just going to add a little more of this mocha. Let's see. Right through here, I have a cylinder. We're going to kind of just accentuate. And some of these details, they're not interesting per se, but yet they're going to give such a neat effect once everything is finished. Just going to add some little pops of color right through here just to kind of give it some interest. Kind of offload my brush a little and kind of dilute this out, just spread it out a little bit more. Kind of like the dirt and aging has kind of rested on the top part of that. And then we'll just bring in some black and kind of even it out. Tone it down a little bit. Yes, he had an old John Deere. So my dad, I think it's still around the farm. It was an old Ford. And oh my goodness. A lot of memories on that tractor. Uh-oh, here comes my little socks girl wanting attention. She'll come in here and holler for a little bit, and then she'll finally go along her way and go take a nap. But right now she thinks she needs to be cuddled. I know. Oh my goodness. So these little details, they're not huge, and there are a lot of lines. Socks. I know, baby. Oh my goodness. You're a spoiled kitty. She's very vocal. Very vocal. I've already been loving on her this morning. It's not like she hasn't gotten any attention. Oh my goodness. I hear you. I'm going to pull in some black just to kind of give this some shadow. Y'all, I am so sorry. I think I'm going to have to pick her up for just a minute and get her to settle down. Oh my goodness. Come here. Come here, baby. Come here. Okay. I'll let you for just a minute. Oh my goodness. Bless her heart. She gets no attention now. She's just purring to kingdom come. Purr, purr, purr. All right. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You're going to be okay. Yeah. All right. That's all we can do for right now, okay? Go ahead. Go play. Go take a nap. Whatever. Maybe that'll satisfy her for a little while. Oh, these fur babies, y'all. Okay, I'm kind of looking at my reference photo, just seeing what else I need to kind of indicate, because I'm not going to worry too much about all the details, because we're going to do some other things with this tractor that are going to kind of bring it all together and kind of conceal some of the things, just adding a little bit of mocha through here. But I want to include enough so that it kind of makes sense. And I'm putting in some shadow work on the underneath areas. Just using pure black on the very bottom of this. I don't even know what part that would be. Okay, that's probably good enough for now. We'll reevaluate in a little bit. I want to kind of concentrate on these wheels a little bit. I'm going to use a flat brush first. Hi, Miss Vicky. How are you this morning, my friend? Thank you for being here. There's Rena. Good morning. Y'all, thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to pull in some black. We're going to start laying in our tire. And this is going to be a little tricky, but we're going to figure this out. We are going to figure this out. So we're going to have our tire not quite meeting our fender. And we're going to have it kind of coming over a little bit underneath our fender. So we have that indication of it covering the fender. So I'm really trying to pay attention to the shape of things. Oh, thank you, Brooke. We're going to widen this out some more. It's going to be wider on the front end than the back end. That's just because of the angles of things. We're going to see more of the tire on this front end. Okay, let's add just a little more, I think, right up through here. Okay, then we're going to need that wheel well, not the wheel well, the inner part of the tire. I'm going to paint that in. I'm going to use this mocha. I did not clean my brush between. And it goes all the way to the tire. I think it's actually called the wheel, to be honest. We're going to just fill in this whole space. You get to see your baby. Oh, you've had a cold. That's terrible. I understand, though. Oh, I know you're excited. I know when my grandson was born, my mother didn't get to see him for a little bit because of her having a cold. And you just don't take those chances with the newborns. All right, just kind of rounding this out. I'm going to pull in a little bit of black just to kind of give some indication of some depth in here. And let me get my detail brush as we add more details to this tire. Kind of thinking about how this all comes into play together. Just a lot of detail and depth goes into this wheel. We need some gray probably, especially back in here. Put in a little gray right through here. Trying to really build in depth. Brooke says you had bronchial symptoms when your nephew was born and you had to wear a mask around him. Yep. Rena, you got the nail art brushes? Yes, they make such a difference. I think you're going to be very pleased. I'm going to be pulling some of that in here in just a little bit. And I'm going to bring in some white. Let me see which one. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my titanium white in the Master's Touch just because it gives really good coverage. It's an awesome color blocker and it's going to help this to pop even more. Get a little bit of that out on my palette. And we may, yeah, I think this will be good. Let me fix my brush. I've got some separation going on. And when that happens, I just get my brush loaded with paint or water and just twirl it. And that kind of brings the bristles back together. I don't have a ton of paint on my brush right now because I don't want a ton of paint coming off on my surface right at this point. So I'm trying to apply very light pressure, and I'm going right along the outside of where this tire sits on that wheel. And there's going to be other areas, like we'll put a little bit through here. We're going to kind of soften that up. We'll add a little mocha to that. Just as we add in the different depths of this wheel. It's kind of like the aspect of where the light is hitting that. So as I look at this, I almost feel like I need to bring this tire around a little more. Let me pick up a little more black. Just looking at the shape of things, the angle of things. And we'll have some other details going on in here that's going to help conceal things quite a bit. So we're just trying to work in some of the details of that wheel because they're important. We've got some red nuts and bolts going on in here, but we want to get some of these details kind of figured out. I do think I want to add a little more white. Let me get a flat brush again. Let's add a little more, very lightly. Kind of brighten this wheel up a little bit. And I'm not covering up what we've already accomplished, but we need to get the brightness in, then we're going to scale it back. but I still want that undertone being kind of being evident, kind of peeking through. Okay. Let's see. Just sitting here kind of thinking, kind of looking. Working on the shape of the tire again. I'm going to bring in a little more black. Just kind of working it in, just trying to be very light with my strokes. Turn this around a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. It's a building process, y'all. You just got to keep building it. And so we're going to kind of highlight again the areas that we want kind of raised or where we think light is evident. Some of these details of this wheel. Thank you, Rena. I hope we're getting there, right? Slowly but surely. I am going to bring in my nail art brush. I call it a micro brush. We're going to put in some details right in the center. Get those very, very fine lines going. And they're just going to enhance that depth as well. These micro brushes, they're very inexpensive. They're primarily used for nail art. But man, they sure make a big difference in acrylic painting as well. You don't really realize all the details involved with these wheels until you start trying to enhance those details and bring them to life. And it's like, wow, who knew? Do need a steady hand and go slow. These little micro brushes, they don't hold a lot of paint. So you do have to load paint more often. All right, let's pull in. Let's see here. I'm just looking, kind of evaluating. Okay, let's pull in some red. Angela, how are you this morning, sweet friend? Thank you for being here. You guys don't realize what a difference you guys being here and hanging out with me makes such a big difference. And I just so appreciate y'all. It helps YouTube realize the engagement makes such an impact. And I'm just so thankful for you. So thankful. All right, we're going to put some of these details in here. We're going to put in some of these bolts. And even in these bolts, we've got some detail we're going to add in. I think I would like to pull in, I'm going to try this. Hopefully some of this black is going to peek through. I'm going to add in a little bit more of this mocha. And I have very little paint on my brush, almost dry brushing it even, just to kind of soften the intensity of some of these colors. And honestly, you just have to kind of experiment with the paint and just see what kind of effects you can get. I'm just trying to be thin. I don't want to lose all that highlight and depth work I just did, but we need to kind of grunge it up a little, maybe, is a good way to think about it. Don't want our tractor to be too pristine. Did you see that Ron Brown finished? Oh, no, I haven't. Oh, bless his heart. That is rough. Cancer is just rough. One of my best friends up in Kentucky is battling breast cancer and going through chemo, and it's rough. I mean, there's just no other word for it. Cleaning my brush a little bit. I'm going to add some little micro details around these bolts and such. Just put in a little black. Giving them just a little depth. I'm going to bring in a little gray. A little more shadowy depth in here. All right, we're going to let that rest a bit, I think, and go to another one. We can come back and kind of, sometimes you just have to kind of let it rest and come back and evaluate and see what adjustments you might need to make. Because I don't think we're quite there with the tire, but we're just going to kind of step away from it a little bit. We're just going to now come into this area of the tire. We're going to bring in some gray. And we're going to add those very distinct features of a tractor tire. Kind of that crisscross thing. We're going to kind of just take the gray and we're thinking about highlights. Okay. And we're going to kind of do these this design. As we come up under this fender, we got to think about how that comes into effect. Okay, let's pull in a little more black. We're going to deepen the black around this design. And even back here on the back of this tire, we can't see a lot of the design as far as that tread, but we're going to have the knobbiness of it. And that's what I want to kind of enhance a little bit, is the knobbiness. We're going to see the silhouette of that on this back side. Does it make a big difference? Yes. Just kind of building this up a little bit. All right. Probably need to pull in a little bit of white as highlight. I may need to use my micro brush for that. Let's do that. Just a little bit. going to come back in and add some more gray. And as we get toward the bottom, we don't have as much of the highlight. My hand is going to sleep. All right, we're going to come back in with a little more gray. We're going to kind of shape this up a little. And then we can see when we look at the photo, there's even a section of gray that kind of is another bit of the impression in between the tread. So we're going to kind of lay in a foundation of gray and we're going to shape it. I'm going to shape it with black. Just trying to pay attention to how it all comes together. I'm just softening that a little. Kind of just blending that gray and black together right on the surface. Kind of enhancing that depth. I'm kind of creating the knob that goes on the other side of the tractor for that tread, the other side of the tire. Just alternating back and forth between black and the gray. Okay, So, friends, that's about all the time I have for today. We're not done by any means, but this is about all I have for today. Got to get to work, unfortunately. So let me get everything pulled back around here and tell y'all goodbye. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you'll join me again next time. I'm not sure that I'll be able to come live this weekend. I'll try to, but I hope to get things kind of wrapped up. If not, I'll try to do a recording. We need to get this piece wrapped up this weekend. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have an amazing holiday weekend. Enjoy your Friday and be blessed. Just be blessed, y'all. Take care, and I'll see y'all again very soon. Bye, friends.